All right. So welcome, guys. Can everybody hear me again?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you're all here. Give yourself 2 claps. I appreciate you making it here. And I don't just mean here to today, the event. I mean today to the milestone, right? We got 36, right? 36 people going to different degrees of probationary, or I mean, not even counting steps. I'm just talking 36 to probationary black belt, first degree black belt, or second degree black belt, and then of course 1 3rd degree black belt and 1 4th degree black belt, and those are all huge accomplishments. Give yourselves a big hand. Freedom isn't free. It's earned. This is true for countries, organizations, and individuals. Our Black Belt Leadership Program is one that's moving us towards freedom. Freedom from disease. Freedom from anxiety. Freedom from fear. Freedom from complacency. Freedom to live a good life, and freedom to lead well. Freedom isn't free nor easy, but it is worth fighting for. There are 3 reasons I chose the theme of freedom for this particular Black Belt extravaganza, this particular Black Belt retreat. And the first one was to honor Grandmaster Smith. In fact, I'm wearing this uniform with his permission in honor of him and Bill Superfoot Wallace and Joe Louis. Those gentlemen wore this uniform when they won the 1974 World Karate Championships, and then in many, many other historic events as they basically spearheaded American karate and American kickboxing. Number 2 reason why I chose it is because freedom isn't free, and we live in a nation at a crossroads. We live in a nation at a time when people have forgotten what the American ideal of freedom is all about. We get to experience the greatest blessings in America. The blessings that anyone of any caste can enter into a meritocracy, start and compete on a playing field in which it's not that equity is guaranteed, but equal opportunity is. And where anyone can go from nothing to wherever they want to go. And it's these ideals and the rest of the American ideals of freedom that made us the country that everybody wants to come to. But as the late, great Ronald Reagan said, we are never more than one generation. Freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. Freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. If I say it one more time, I'll say it right the next time. Freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. And he said, we didn't pass it to our kids in their blood. All right, I'm paraphrasing now so that I'm not reading. But he's right. And I hear people all the time talking about all the things that are wrong in America today and the way that the youth don't think the way that we used to think, how patriotism is dying. But see, I also believe that we can always be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. And that leads me to the third thing, is that the third reason why we're using freedom as our theme is because that's what we're doing here. It's one of the great commissions because we're developing tomorrow's leaders today. And we're developing the leaders that will restore and propel the ideals of American patriotism and freedom that made our country great. I also wanted to talk about some of the other ways that our Black Belt Leadership Program at Krav Maga Martial Arts develops freedom. As I alluded to in the introduction, freedom from disease. We know today that most disease is actually metabolic disease, and that exercise is one of the best things to have freedom from disease. closely followed by nutrition. And so the great workouts that you partake in the classes and the healthy eating worksheets that we have the students do are all contributing to freedom from disease. Freedom from anxiety. Generalized anxiety disorder affects 6.8 million Americans today. In a 2023 study, 32.3%, nearly a third of American respondents reported feeling anxiety and depression symptoms in 2023. And I could go on and on about the problem, especially because these things are especially rising in the youth and the adolescents. But as you know, I'd rather not focus on the problem as much as on the solution. And what do exercise, purpose and passion, association with a positive community of peers, surrounding yourself, associations with encouraging and empowering people. What do all these things have in common? Yes, first of all, they're great for developing freedom from anxiety. And second of all, they're all part of the Blackbelt Leadership Program at Krav Maga Martial Arts. Next is freedom from fear. Fear is natural, and fear served us well for a long, long time. You know, when there was a good chance of being eaten by a woolly mammoth or some other, creature, it was a good idea to have some fear. But how many people know that most fear today is imagined? And most of it never comes true except in our mind. And even that which deserves a healthy respect, the fear can diminish with preparedness. It's why, of course, we train in self-defense. You know, the possibility, the percentage that you'll actually be attacked by violent crime is very small. But the peace, the freedom that comes from knowing you could defend yourself if you were, is priceless. Freedom from complacency. I believe that complacency is one of the worst culprits of all. Worse than many that I've spoken about so far. Because they rob their victims. Complacency robs its victims of passion and purpose and drive and desire and all of the things that make freedom possible. The freedom to live well. By the time a confident, competent black belt leader has developed the 6 black belt superpowers and discovered their 7th, the principles of a black belt, they have the tools that they need for the rest of their life. As I said, God willing, nobody will ever get to use the self-protection piece of what we do. But all the rest of what your kids are getting here, and so many of you have even said to me, and what I'm getting here, will serve you well to live a good life for the rest of your life. And finally, the freedom to lead well. Kind of finishing where I started, that we're developing tomorrow's leaders today, because as John Maxwell so accurately said, everything rises and falls on leadership. And I tell you, when I look out, I see so many great leaders in this crowd. And it's no accident that this Black Belt Leadership Academy has continued to grow and gets better and better with every generation of Black Belt leaders that stays on and helps raise the next. And it's for that reason that I'm so proud and so grateful to be here with you, to get to hear you all for the rest of tonight, and to get to watch you the rest of this weekend as you take your next step in your Black Belt leadership journey. Let's make it a great one. Sensei Thomas.